The rain drummed softly on the metal roof of the naval hangar, echoing like a distant heartbeat of war. The air was thick with sea salt and tension as rows of operators in dark gear stood silently. All eyes locked on the man before them. Captain Darius Kane, a legendary Navy SEAL, stood at the front, his presence alone enough to quiet any room. This was no routine briefing. The kind of mission being discussed would decide who lived and who did. Behind him, a large screen flickered, with grainy satellite images of a heavily guarded compound buried deep in enemy territory. Hostages, armed patrols, and anti-air systems filled the display, painting a picture of a mission so fragile that one wrong move could bring disaster. Kane let the silence stretch before speaking in a low, steady voice. "Any combat pilots here?" Question felt out of place. These were SEALs, trained for land and sea, not skies. Men shifted uncomfortably, exchanging looks. Then, from the back of the room, someone quietly stood. She wasn't loud or imposing. She simply rose with calm confidence, her hair tied back, her eyes steady. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Hale. For months, she had worked quietly in logistics, almost invisible to most of the base. But now she spoke, her voice gentle, yet unbreakable. "I am." A ripple of surprise moved through the room. Some doubted her. Others smirked. She didn't fit their image of a fighter pilot. No bravado, no show, just certainty. Kane studied her closely. F-18 Super Hornet, she continued. 127 combat missions. Carrier landings. Under fire? If you need a pilot, I can fly. Even the rain seemed to pause. Kane nodded slowly. "Then you're coming with us." Hours later, the operation began. SEAL boats sliced through black water under the cover of night while high above. Sarah's jet hummed through the clouds, armed and ready. In her cockpit, every movement was precise, her breathing steady. But inside her mind, memories stirred of the night she lost her wingman 2 years earlier, watching his aircraft vanish in flames. She had sworn she would never fly again. Yet, here she was, answering a call she could not ignore. Her radar flared with enemy signals. Anti-air systems were active. On the ground, Kane and his team advanced through deadly terrain, shadows crawling between hostile positions. When they were pinned down by heavy fire, Kane's voice cut through the chaos over the radio. "We're stuck. We need air." "The target," Sarah replied calmly. A green flare burst into the sky. She banked hard, warning lights flashing as enemy missiles locked onto her jet. Without hesitation, she released her strike. Fire streaked through the darkness, slamming into the enemy's stronghold and erasing it in a thunder of flame and dust. The SEALs pushed forward, alive because she was above them. But escape was still impossible. The extraction point was compromised, and enemy forces were closing in. Sarah made the call. "I'll open a path." Her jet dropped low, almost brushing the treetops as tracer rounds chased her through the air. One explosion rattled her cockpit, alarms screaming, memories of her fallen wingman clawing at her heart. She forced them back and flew straight into the storm. Cannons roared, explosions tore the ground apart, and a narrow corridor of safety was carved through chaos. Kane led his team and the rescued hostages through that burning path, guiding them toward survival. By dawn, the mission was complete. The hostages were safe. The SEALs were alive. Sarah stepped down from her scorched jet, exhausted and battered, carrying the weight of both victory and loss. The men who once doubted her now watched in silent respect. Kane approached her and spoke quietly. "You saved us." She shook her head. "We saved each other." The base grew quiet again. No celebrations, no speeches, just people who understood how close they had come to losing everything. And in that silence, one truth remained clear. When the question was asked, when courage was needed, one voice rose softly and changed everything. Heroes don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they simply stand up when it matters most.